doesn't sound particularly pleasant to me. But,
Doesn't, does it?
It's just not something I'm excited to get up in the morning and go do, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone, welcome to round number 4 of week number 2 of our Community FFA tournament. This time around, we've got Vampirus, Zorbaz, Andreas G again, and of course, Tesseract rounding out the group. Morgan is still here, finishing up that last little bit of commentary for today. And once again, Elite's available. Really want to see that, don't you?
I do. Every map I try to find suitable for elites, but nobody's taking the bait. So...
Well, that's because, as you say, it's bait. You gotta know what you're doing with an elite to make it work. And even then, I'm still not sure that it's really a wise decision. On the other, speaking of not maybe wise decisions, Andreas G founding with 40,000 debt as an expansive player of this game. That seems excessive to me.
Slightly, just slightly. I don't know whether it was a misclick or maybe I don't think it was. But there we go, we got our scavenger down, which I expected to go a little bit sooner, but hey ho.
Yeah, that double carbon is certainly looking very tempting to me, at least. There's also plenty of aluminum available not far away, so I really like being able to do that, especially because as we all know at this point about series, hopefully, scavengers don't suffer from that diminishing resources, and it's always nice to find a position as them, in my opinion, on this kind of map, and on IO, if they're available.
Yeah, I mean, I like the scavenger spot because you've got the salts, so food is high. I mean, glass isn't high at the moment, but it'll be higher soon, so you can really get some good production. Elite second to the upgrade, I like it.
Going to move into some powerful iron, probably a good idea. Always nice if you have to take the iron next to your base that's a little weak, transition to stronger iron away from your base later on, once you're less concerned about just immediately getting off the ground. So kind of a nice little thing to see from Zorbaz. You don't see it every day, so still worth pointing out, I think.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Andreas has got a little bit stuck. He's driven the price of iron up pretty significantly because he's got no iron himself. But hopefully he's going to resolve that. Now he's got his upgrade. Yeah, got us to get some iron, but there's some money to be made in iron.
Yes, there is. I mean, not too surprising, though. We did see Andreas, as you say, he started the game without access to any iron, and so he was going to be consuming that pretty heavily, so I'm not really too surprised to see this high iron price right now. It's not like Zorbaz had much of a reason to sell it down until Andreas had secured his own, and even then, arguably, you don't have to do that right away. Water Mutiny, probably not going to work out well.
Nah, there's not a huge amount of money in water. Andreas has got a big stockpile, but...
Exactly. I'm actually surprised he mutinied that back, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I'd have probably left it, but I don't know, mutinies are cheap, so 120 seconds at $40, maybe it pays for itself.
But are mutinies really that cheap when you bought one instead of just buying a goon squad for later? I mean, it uses that cooldown. I'm not so sure about it.
Yeah, the goon squads would be better. Core sample, anything would be better, I think, than mutiny it back, but kind of see why he did it. But I mean, one power surge for Andreas, and he's in massive amounts of trouble. Shut down for, well, a good long time, so he's really going to struggle there. Pyrus as well is hidden down here in the south.
Andreas, I don't think he can afford that.
20k.
20k, I mean, it's a tile for 20k, and usually you think, okay, tile for 20k, yeah, that should be fine. He's in $84,000 of debt.
Yeah, he needs to build a nuclear plant.
Yeah, he's going to get to that upgrade, and that's good, but you can see even after getting up to HQ3, he's still in C levels of debt, and, well, we're on series. Interest ticks are coming constantly. It's not like you can ride that out for a little while, have some time to get it fixed before it's going to start causing a problem. No, it's going to start causing a problem right now.
Yeah, he's really deep in the hole.
Oh, I'm nervous about it. He's getting the uranium. He's getting the nuclear plant started. That's good. The power surge onto Zorbaz's solar panel might be able to help him out. He's going to want to keep that power price high as long as he can, but Tesseract already in 2 nuclear plants himself. I don't know how well this is going to work out for Andreas, and he needs it to work very well in order to stay in this one, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to have that high power price, get some debt paid. He needs to get 50k debt paid minimum, because he's just going to struggle so much. And you say,
that's going to hurt too.
yep, doesn't help. I mean, food at $180, really quite appealing, but nope, that's shut down for a good minute. There we go.
Bouncing power surges. Vampires trying to bring down Tesseract's nuclear plants, but unfortunately gets it turned around. And our scavenger, HQ4 before anybody else, it's where he wants to be.
Yeah. Oh, you got to run through with a scavenger. Get those upgrades in. Get it quick. Andreas, have you seen he's taken a Pleasure Dome spot and not yet built a Pleasure Dome?
Oh boy. And on top of that, yeah, he has the Pleasure Dome spot without a Pleasure Dome. That's what he got from that auction that's been causing him some of these troubles. And of course, he was also in a position where a lot of his buildings got shut down, and of course his nuclear plants weren't making money, so he actually ran out of money to keep his nuclear plants online for some time. But what we've been focusing on Andreas, Zorbaz tried to make solar panels happen, and he's got quite a lot of debt himself now.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone for liquid batteries, so he's going to keep those solar panels running 24/7, but
I don't like that. Like, there are reasons to put down an HQ level 3 patent lab for a lot of characters. I genuinely think that as an elite, it's almost an inexcusable mistake, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can always pick up the patents as an elite player. Nobody can take them away from you. So you don't have to prioritize that rush to this patent. You can kind of sit back a little bit, focus on making the money that you need to make sure you're not going to get knocked out by something like a power surge onto your solar panels, and then move into the patent a little bit later on and secure a late game plan with it. I really don't like this mid-game patent move as an elite.
no. And you've got the option for it, because you can build your HQ buildings earlier, but suicide to take it up, I think. I mean, you struggle enough as an elite, and now you've just got a big millstone around your neck. And that's going to drag him down, down, down. D+1. It's only going bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it's really going to be a huge problem. Somebody might have a chance to just pick him up and almost win the game off that later on. We'll have to see how it plays out. I am being amused by the fact right now that our 20k tile auction for Pleasure Dome doesn't have a Pleasure Dome on it yet, but yet the Pleasure Dome auction itself went for 16 over to Tesseract. So he's just, I mean, if anybody is going to be happy about Zorbaz having so many troubles, it's going to be Tesseract. He's already HQ5, huge amount of cash, and he's going after Vampirus. It looks like he's not expecting to get the majority on Zorbaz. Thinks he might be able to get it on Vampirus, though.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. He wouldn't be able to buy Zorbaz, unfortunately. But he had a chance at picking up Vampirus, but has decided not to pursue that.
I do want to point out that Andreas G doesn't have debt anymore because power has just stayed this ridiculous this entire time.
Yeah, I noticed that. It hasn't come down, has it, at all?
We had 2 people build solar panels, and I just don't think solar panels are a good option unless you really blood them pretty hard on series. You've got access to nuclear plants. 2 of our players went nuclear plants. 2 of them went for solar panels. 2 of them are winning, and 2 of them aren't. It's not a very complicated equation.
No, power power has proved the decisive factor in this one. I mean, Zorbaz is, well, somebody's going to shift by him. He's just,
Tesseract can be looking at that.
Yeah, his stock
Andreas can too, though.
So cheap. Yeah, Andreas has turned it around.
Andreas upgraded. Not sure about that.
Didn't think he needed to. But I mean, he's core sampled. I think he's trying to find some more water. I don't know, it was a bold move taking all... I mean, I know why he went early, because he wanted the water, he wanted the silicon, but with the expansives, I mean, all his water's just decayed, and he's not really made a profit out of it yet. But fortunately, the high power price pulled him out of his... Well, basically it was a mistake. So, he did alright there, but Tesseract is in a great position. If he can keep going as he's going now, he's really going to do well. That food. Yeah,
he needs to get this buy done. He needs to not have this solo glass kiln down, frankly.
Yeah.
But okay, now it's going to get a friend. That's one way to handle the situation. But I didn't like Andreas upgrading because it felt like Andreas' big way to kind of compete with Tesseract, who was at HQ5, while he was at HQ3, was to just go ahead and get the buy on Zorbaz, pick up 2 extra claims there, and he's looking to be in a good spot no matter what the upgrades were at. But if Tesseract gets this buy after having been at HQ5 for so long, and having that Pleasure Dome down initially and all this other nonsense, Andreas now getting a 28k actual Pleasure Dome auction. I don't think that was a good decision.
Do you think he's forgotten that he's actually got a Pleasure Dome? Oh no, he is putting something
No,
on
he
it.
was already had it building. Like, he had just recently started it when he took this other one. But the other thing is, he was making money on power. I guess power is falling off, so it's not that big a deal. But he was making money on power, and this is the phase of the game where you need every last scrap of cash you can get so you can bring down that weak player and take that big lead over everyone else. And I'm just disappointed to see that not having happened yet. Tesseract should be able to actually just get this done now. He could easily sell out of one of his own stock, sell out of Vampirus stock, and finish this buy. And it's even better now that Zorbaz has started buying into him.
The black mark.
Yeah, it's a share for free, isn't it? Every share Zorbaz buys, Tesseract needs to sell one down and, like you say, snap him up. Yeah, some of these players, they don't see the opportunities there. I mean, DT is a great example of seeing opportunities where nobody else does. A few more people took a leaf out of his book. I think some of the games would go a slightly different way than they have been.
Yeah, let's just say that there's a reason that DT wins so many games, and honestly, his attention to the stock market is going to be a big factor in that.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. You knock somebody out early, you've got a good thing going, without a doubt. I think Zorbaz is going to get snapped up very shortly. And apart from Andreas, I don't really see anybody else competing. Vampirus has not done a huge amount, still down at HQ3, which not going to get a lot done at this stage of the game if you're at HQ3. Especially when you look at the kind of money that Tesseract's got, Andreas has got. Well, Andreas definitely needs to do something. He needs to do something, because otherwise Tesseract's just running away with it.
Yeah, and Zorbaz is kind of just... he's trying to compete with Tesseract. You can see that his stock price has been kind of kept up by this, and yeah, it looks like he's getting something done. But realistically, what's happening here is Andreas G, yeah, okay, he got up to HQ5, but Tesseract is going to own an elite subsidiary and himself completely. Meanwhile, Andreas G will only have half of his own stock purchase, no subsidiary. Not really a whole lot going on comparatively, and so Tesseract he just needs to get this buy done, and he is going to be in an absolutely fantastic position to take the rest of this game. It's all about Zorbaz right now.
Yep.
There we go.
Tesseract said, "Thank you very much. He will have that," and he does. And now Andreas is looking in a really bad position at the moment.
Yeah, what do you do from here? I mean, just an opponent who manages to secure a subsidiary and all of their stock all at once when you've got nothing done this game. I mean, Vampirus has never been particularly vulnerable because they haven't fallen into a huge amount of debt, but what do you do?
Hasn't done much though, has she? She's just competing.
No, I still maintain that Zorbaz or Andreas G, he would have been in such a great position, I think, if he had just not upgraded from HQ3. Gotten that buy done himself.
Yeah, Zorbaz was so cheap at the time, it would have been a great investment. And it put him in a really good position, the position that Tesseract is in at the moment.
Our methods continue
Well,
to improve.
we've been focusing a lot on the stock market because honestly I think that's where this game is decided, but there have been things happening elsewhere. So with patents, Zorbaz, before falling out of the game, did manage to grab liquid batteries, nanotech, and transparent aluminum, which Tesseract is going to be glad that his subsidiary has access to all of those, I would imagine. Meanwhile, Vampirus picked up perpetual motion, which, yeah, it's helpful, but maybe not that key thing that'll pull you into a game when you're HQ3 to a couple of HQ5s. And Tesseract himself picked up teleportation, which does not seem to be getting him much done, and I'm kind of curious if it was actually all that useful. You can argue it denies it from other players, but it just doesn't feel like a priority this game.
No, it's definitely a new player trap, isn't it? Taking teleportation every time. Just no real need for it.
It's the best patent in the game, except when it's not.
Yeah.
Just like every other patent.
I was gonna say, you can say that about everything.
Pretty much everything. That's the trap of Offworld Trading Company.
Yeah, everything's situational. It'll be good.
Virtual reality though, that looks okay. Not super amazing with all these pleasure domes down, but hey, it doesn't hurt to have the best pleasure dome in the game.
Yeah, that's it. Any edge you can have is great. But
That's another thing I really didn't like from Zorbaz, is his positioning with the elite was kind of okay to go ahead and get an elite pleasure dome up, but he never got it done. Such a crucial tool for the elites, access to that tool that nobody else has in the super profitable pleasure dome.
yeah, I mean, there's holograms as well, so as an elite, just bang one next to your base and put a hologram on it.
If you have to, yeah, that'll work.
It's profitable enough. I mean, it's safe. It's a good source of income. I mean, that's really going to help you through HQ3 and 4. If you've got a little hidden pleasure dome there, that's definitely going to help. But yeah, I kind of agree with you. Going for those patents early is what killed him, along with the debt. Got to be so careful with elites. So difficult to play.
I think it's arguably also a big part of why he had so much debt, because if you're putting up a patent lab, you're focused on kind of protecting that rather than protecting your source of power. Also, a lot of your money has gone into that, so maybe you don't want to make the full investment into those nuclear plants, and you try and go for the slightly cheaper solar panels instead, and you can just see how that works out at that stage of the game. It is an elite. It is almost certainly not going to get the job done.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing later on. I mean, solar panels with liquid batteries is
Oh
good
yeah,
move,
they're great.
But when power's at 240, you just want to take the nuclear
Price
plants.
manipulation begins shortly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You just want to get those down and grab up as much of those power profits as you can.
That's it. And later on, when uranium spikes,
The black
move
market
it into
is
solar panels,
online.
but not off the bat. And he paid for it, unfortunately. Andreas G trying to buy into Tesseract, but can't see that going anywhere, to be honest. Tesseract's 70-odd% on Andreas, just a matter of time.
Yeah, he'll get that done. And then, of course, Vampirus offers no competition whatsoever this game. Just looked to be a bit of a poor found. Certainly struggled through HQ3, trying to, once again, get solar panels done, get something done in the power market. But if you do that, you aren't actually making any money, and that can lead to some extremely painful situations, such as the one we saw this game.
Yeah, I imagine she probably founded one of the last players and just scraps then, really. There's not a huge amount. It wasn't the best map. You really need to get your spot quickly. Decide your strategy and just go for it.
Our methods continue to improve.
All right, Tesseract in a good position to go ahead and pick up this buy any moment, and he's going to get that done. I do wonder if Vampires could just concede. Another option is for Tesseract to just sell down all of his stock, because he's in, I mean, literally he could sell all of it and then he would still be just fine.
Yeah.
To clean up this game. Even the majority is going to cost an absurd amount compared to what Vampires can pull in.
Oh yeah, far too much. I mean, she's got 160, 170k, but it's not going to
Yeah,
get
it's a
very
whole
far.
2 stock if it weren't double price.
Exactly.
I mean, out of 6, right? It's just not going to get the job done.
No, not at all. If I was Tesseract, I'd probably do as you say, sell it down and just get it over and done with. Certainly once I got those 5 shares, I'd be selling my own shares. Just clean it up, get the game done.
So it looks like, by the way, I'm actually bothering to read chat for once because I don't really have much to talk about here. And it looks like one of our games hasn't actually started yet,
Optimization routine
Really?
successful.
which is the Blues DT game we were talking about potentially.
It's dead set on us
Broadcasting.
waiting so we can cast it. Oh, I'm going to be very uncomplimentary about DT then.
I'm comfortable with that decision out of you, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I remember when he was a loser, and I used to beat him every single
The black
time.
market is online.
Oh boy, I remember when that was all of you, so, you know.
Yeah, so long ago. There we go, red button, come on, let's get this done.
There it is.
Nice. Well,
Cleaned up the game. That'll get it done. That'll get it done. I mean, realistically, that whole game was about the fact that Zorbaz had an insane amount of debt.
yeah. Yeah, it entertained us to start with, but yeah, I'm really sad that the Elite didn't do better. I had some hopes on this map. Not great hopes, but I thought it would give the Scavenger maybe a run for its money, but didn't turn out to be that way.
I think so far, I'm pretty sure that I'm the most successful player with Elites, and I'm still sitting here going, man, I'm not sure when I actually would want to play this instead of expansive.
Yeah, well, I think the general consensus,
Except
isn't
in
it?
8-player games, and then I drop a lead every time, and I build a pleasure dome on HQ2, and then I win the game.
Yeah. I think at IO you can compete with elites if you got the right
Okay,
spots.
IO maybe. It's hard. It's hard. It's a hard faction. I still don't know for sure that it's a bad faction, but it's a hard faction.
Yeah, it's not. Good luck. That's all I can say.
All right, charts and graphs. Is there anything we need to look at this game? Andreas G, fantastic job making money off power. Problem is, like half that wasn't making money, and it was paying down the absurd debt, right?
Yeah.
Tesseract, fantastic job making money off power, fantastic job making money off water, interestingly enough, although he bought a significant amount as well, so some of that's just playing around with markets. Also made an absurd amount of money on food.
That's the salt.
Yeah, that's that salt kicking in for sure, helping him out a lot. You saw both glass and food down on those salts, and you can see that probably made a big difference in letting him actually get that pickup on Zorbaz when he did. And then, of course, other than that, he just had that subsidiary and he got the job done. That's what we need to look at here. Let's get on to the other game, I suppose, since they've been waiting on us.